Hello folks, this is Sula speaking, and you're listening to another commentary video for League of Legends, this one featuring Karthus. I'm playing again in a pre-made team, along with Metallion, who's playing as Xinjiao, and uses the username Noobstar, with Mookie, who's playing as Gangplank, with Pocket Beetle, who's playing as Mundo, and with Cull, who is currently disconnected, but who is playing as Warwick in this game, as you'll see once we actually get into the game. You can see the team that we're playing up against. The other team has a Jungle Rammus, which is a pretty strong pick for them, as well as Kassadin, Malzahar, Sivir, and Caitlyn. In terms of the laning assignments for this game, I'm going to be taking the top lane because I've brought teleport for this game, and just because it works a little bit better. Because the distances are further, if one solo has teleport and the other person doesn't, it's usually better to put teleport in the outer lane because of the distances involved. We're going to have Mookie's Gangplank take the middle lane, and Mookie is going to be following a deny strategy, using the Gangplank's ability to kill his own minions to try and deny golden experience to the other team. So our bottom lane is going to consist of Metallion, Xinjiao, and Pocket Beetle's Mundo, and then Cole, of course, is going to be jungling with Warwick. And we'll see who we're up against in a minute when we get to the laning assignments. Now, a lot of the videos that I've been casting previously have been featuring lots of other champions that I'm trying out, different champs I'm experimenting, playing with. I enjoy playing lots of different champs. I don't want to just get stuck with a single champ all the time. But you are going to play some champs more than any others, and Karthus is a champ that I've spent the most time playing. I have the most games played with Karthus. He's the one I've practiced the most with. I think that I probably play the best when I'm playing as Karthus, so I'm going to try to demonstrate that in this game. This will be a game that's less about sort of showing off a new champion and more about polishing and trying to expand the gameplay as best as possible for someone that I'm pretty well practiced with. I think I have a good idea how to play Karthus. I think I have a pretty good idea of what works well with him, what doesn't work well with him. So I'm going to be trying to focus on that. And now you see that Cole's reconnected to the game. So fortunately, he's able to get back in pretty quickly, although his jungling is going to be delayed a little bit because of his time that he missed here. Anyway, as I said, I'm going to be taking the top lane. Why am I standing here? Just to try and make it more difficult for the enemy team to come into our jungle. I'm just covering one of the two top entrances. There's another one that they can still get into a little bit further down on the top side of the river, but this at least makes it a little harder for them to get in our jungle. Doesn't look like they're going to do that. And now what I'm going to do here, one thing you always want to do with Karthus is check the brush. So use lay waste to check the brush to see if anyone's there. And now I see Caitlyn slipping in up there in the top lane. So I'm going to be laning up here with Caitlyn top, as you probably could have guessed from the title of this video anyway. So Caitlyn, one of the newer champions, not the newest at this point in time as I record this video, but as I record this, still one of the newer champions. Caitlyn has really good range. That's pretty much her calling card. She's supposed to be a sniper champion. Has very, very long range, and that's the main reason why you would want to play her, because she can harass pretty well. She has one of the longest auto attack distances in the game. Fortunately, Karthus also has very good range. And so you're going to see me trying to take advantage of that with using his lay waste here as we go back and forth in the lane. As far as the other lanes, Mookie's in the middle lane is laning against a Malzahar player, which is kind of an interesting solo, but Malzahar can solo pretty well, so that's not that weird. Then the weird thing, though, was because Malzahar was soloing, that meant that Sivir was in the bottom lane, and they had a Sivir... who is the other person? I think they have a Sivir Kassadin bottom lane, which is very strange. Yeah, they have Sivir Kassadin in the dual lane, as Metallion draws first blood down there, which is really weird because both Sivir and Kassadin are excellent solos, and putting them in a dual lane is a little bit of a strange decision, but anyway, that's what they decided to go with, and we were pretty happy. I was just glad that they weren't soloing Kassadin up here, because Kassadin counters Karthus really well. Karthus has a lot of trouble dealing with Kassadin, especially after he hits 6 and gets his Riftwalk ultimate. Anyway, so we scored a kill down there, and then of course they have their Rammus who's going to be jungling for them, and Rammus, excellent jungler. So between Rammus and Cole's Warwick, we have some pretty good junglers in this game. Right now, I'm just concentrating on farming up here, and here's something that I want to mention right off the bat here, is notice that I pushed the minions up to Caitlyn's tower, and now I'm going to take advantage of this to go back and buy. This is something that I've seen on some of the more expert players' live streams, and I think it's a really good idea. Is you can often level up to 4 in a soul lane and then push the other team. Push the lane right up to the other team's tower. It's a really good time if you do that to go back and buy. You can pick up boots and you can pick up a ward and then drop the ward in your lane, and it will protect you from potential gank attempts by the other team's jungler, because if you notice, when you play a jungler, usually you spend about the first 3 to 4 minutes doing an initial pass through the jungle, and then after that is when you look to go after other lanes. The reason for that being is now your jungle minions are going to be on the cooldown timers for the next couple minutes. So in that about minutes 4 to 6 on the timer is usually when a jungler will start going to other lanes trying to get kills. So if you do that initial buy and you push them up to your tower, first of all, you're not going to miss hardly any minion gold or experience, because if you notice right there, all of my minions were up at their tower. Their minions, the blue minions, were getting grouped up, and so hardly any of them were dying while I wasn't there, so I was able to get gold and experience for almost all of them. Now, if you're watching the minimap there, you might have noticed that Rammus has slipped ahead, and if you noticed, I caught sight of him. He slipped ahead into the bushes near me in the lane. I saw that with my ward, and I was trying to play defensively here. I didn't want to come forward because I knew that Rammus was around here. I was hoping that he would head off and go somewhere else. When the lane pushed forward, I was going to check that brush with a lay waste to see if he was still there. I believe he's in the brush on the side of the lane. So anyway, again, I'm going to play defensively and just harass Caitlyn while also farming up these minions. And notice Cole is ganking bottom lane, and he's scoring a kill there. Meanwhile, I'm waiting. I'm trying to see, okay, is Rammus still here? I notice I'm staying at the top of the lane. And here comes Rammus, so I'm going to throw it on my wall to protect myself, and then Ghost. And notice I'm able to escape that particular attempt at a kill. I did have to use my Ghost, but that was a pretty good use of it, I think. Also, notice to anyone watching, if you are thinking of playing Rammus, this is why you take Flash with Rammus, so that stuff like that won't work. Rammus could have flashed over my wall, or he could have just flashed next to me, and then with his taunt, and his Powerball, he could have possibly gotten a kill there, but I was able to escape that pretty easily. So again, that's why it's often a really good idea to go back and pick up that early ward, just because you know that the enemy team's jungler is going to be coming after you right around, say, about the 5-minute mark. So if you can just throw down a ward early and protect yourself against that, you'll be pretty safe. And now that I have that ward for sight, I can push up here and play very aggressively, because if Rammus were to try to roll in behind me, I'll be able to see him coming, and I'll be able to get back out of there. So, like, look, there he is. There's Rammus. I see him coming. I have sight, and so I'm just going to back off. And, obviously, I'm going to miss some minion kills here. I'm going to miss some experience in gold. But it would be a lot worse if I got killed here in lane. So I'm just going to back off, and notice Rammus is waiting here. And all this time that Rammus has spent trying to come after me in top lane, that's time he's not clearing his own jungle, and that's time that he's not going after other lanes. So that ward has really helped our team out a lot. And for 75 gold, that proved to be a really, really good investment. So anyway, just trying to give anyone who's watching this, some tips about things you can do in a solo lane to protect yourself, good times to buy, when it's a good time to head back, etc. And of course, that's something that I didn't come up with on my own. I've picked that up from other players. I just want to share that to anyone who's watching this. Anyway, other things about Karthus and this matchup here with Caitlyn. With Karthus, the key to playing Karthus, a lot of people have watched these videos and have tried to play Karthus and realized that he's actually one of the harder champions to play. He has a pretty high skill requirement. It's very crucial that you be able to place his lay waste, because that's how he farms, and if Karthus doesn't get farmed, he's not going to be useful. Anyway, down here, there's a fight breaking out on the river here. They get a kill on Cole right there, and then I noticed that Malzahar was trying to slip away, so I popped my ultimate, although Muki's Ignite actually got the kill. Now here, I was hoping that Muki would continue fighting, because I was going to come in here and engage, but when Muki backed off, I had to back off as well. So a little bit of an inconclusive fight there. One kill on each side. Our jungler gets killed, their solo gets killed, so that's probably a slight advantage for us, I guess. Not that big a deal, though. So we trade back and forth, and now that these minions are pushing up towards my tower, I'm going to farm them up one at a time. Anyway, as I was saying before, Karthus, if you're going to play Karthus, you need to be able to use his lay waste effectively. You want to hit one minion at a time, because his lay waste deals double damage if it only hits one target. That should always be your focus. Try to hit one minion at a time. It's easier said than done, especially when they clump up like that. It can be difficult, but that's the goal anyway. Also notice how Caitlyn is coming forward to harass me. I'm trying to harass her back, but she's doing a pretty good job here of staying out of the range of my lay waste. And like right here, I'm able to dodge her Q there. I don't know the name of the skill. Sorry, probably should have looked that up before I recorded this. But her Q skill, the one that's by far her best skill, was able to dodge that there. Now here, I'm out of position. I should have backed off when she came towards me. She hits me with her Q, and uh-oh, I'm going to get ulted by Caitlyn, but I survive with 20 health left. Fortunately, Caitlyn's ult is pretty terrible. I mean, just compare Caitlyn's ult to Karthus' ult. Caitlyn's ult hits one champion. It can be interrupted. Someone else can block it. It does very little damage. I mean, Karthus' ult it can be reduced by armor because it's physical. Karthus' ult hits everyone on the map, does more damage, can't be blocked. I mean, it's just much better. Anyway, here I'm going to use my teleport to head back into the lane. Note that this is a weak use of teleport, but in this situation, it's good. I'm going to chase after Caitlyn, and I don't think she has boots left yet, so I'm faster than her. I'm going to follow her with lay waste, and like right there, notice how I missed 2 lay wastes. If I had hit on both of them, I would have gotten a kill there. Another thing I could have considered doing would have been ghosting after her. With the ghost, I could have gotten my wall down earlier, and I could have gotten next to her. That also probably would have been a kill, so I probably should have used my ghost there. So that's a missed opportunity. Could have done better. Oh, but notice this. Caitlyn has decided to stick around instead of going back to heal, and this is a mistake on her part. So I'm going to throw down the wall. This time the placement of the wall is perfect. It slows her. She's going to try to ghost, but it's not going to matter. And that's a very bad play by her because she used ghost and flash and still died there. If you noticed, she ghosted and then tried to flash, but it wasn't enough. Decent juke attempt, but she was just too low, and my defile finished her off. So that was just a mistake on her part. Needed to go back and heal after that initial engagement, particularly after your other lane mate has boots. You want to buy boots. Oh, and there I knew there was a fight breaking out in bottom lane, and when I glimpsed down there, I just had vision very briefly of Kassadin escaping into the jungle with like a tiny bit of health left. So I popped off my ultimate, and now I've gotten 2 kills, and that's going to help me out enormously because you can see I have the most minion kills in the game, just by a little. It's still very close, but I do have the most, and now I've also scored 2 kills as well. One due to Caitlyn sticking around too far, and then in another one due to a fight in bottom lane where I was able to pick up a kill. Here, I'm going to take advantage of Caitlyn not being here to go drop a ward. And because I pushed my lane up to the tower while she was gone, notice how the tower has eaten like all of my minions. So Caitlyn, by the time Caitlyn gets back here, the tower has eaten like 2 or 3 waves of minions, and she's not going to get the gold or the experience or any of them. Now I'm going to lead the minions back here to the middle of the lane, and now we're going to be engaging in the middle of the lane, where once again I'm going to be relatively safe against kill attempts by anyone on their team. And again, once again, I make sure that I have a ward there to protect me. You saw how that saved me from the earlier Rammus gank. Oftentimes you'll hear people say things like, well, I'm playing a carry, I don't need to buy wards, but that whole idea is just sort of nonsense to me. Wards are cheap, 75 gold. I mean, I've spent a total of 150 gold on wards thus far, 2 wards. I mean, that's maybe like, what, 6 or 7 minion kills, and I have well over 70. So, devoting, 10 to, something like 5 to 10% of the gold you bring in exchange for protection against getting killed, I mean, that's a really good investment. So do buy those wards. And like, once again, here comes Rammus, but I'm just going to get out of there with no problems because, once again, the ward gives us vision of him coming. And in fact, now Cull has the idea, Cull had this idea, let's counter gank Rammus. We know he's in that brush, so we're going to counter gank him. Wall to slow, Cull's going to come in and ult him, and now I'm going to use Defile, Lay Waste, and that's going to be a kill on us, going to be a kill for us. So very nice play by Cull, that he actually had the suggestion to go for that. I probably would have just backed off and played more defensively, but he had the idea to go after Rammus. And now notice what else Rammus has done. Rammus's death has given me blue buff, so now I have essentially infinite mana, and now I can spam my spells all day long, and that's going to allow me to really harass Caitlyn. I don't need to worry about saving mana or anything like that. I can run Defile whenever I want to if I want to push the minion wave, although I don't here actually. I'm going to play a little bit more defensively, but I'm going to, right now when she comes forward, I'm going to try to back her off continuously off the minion wave. Anytime she comes forward, I'm going to throw down Lay Waste to back her off, make it difficult for her to farm. and I'm going to be able to get most of the minion kills here. So like right now, Caitlyn comes forward, and I'm going to harass her and make it really difficult for her to farm, while also still trying to get all the minion kills. So this is something that takes some practice, but after you play a champion a lot, you get a feel for their skills, for their range. And now I've been beating up Caitlyn so badly, they're going to switch Malzahar up here, who's a higher level, and they're going to switch Malzahar up here to try and fight against me. So you can see they're actually doing a laning swap up here because Caitlyn's been having so much trouble against me. Right there, checking the map, knew there was a fight going on in bottom lane, checking to see if they needed me to ult into that fight. Right now, you can see nobody's low. Wouldn't serve any purpose to ult in. I also have to be a little careful about that with Malzahar up here. If Karthus does get silenced during his ultimate, while his ultimate's channeling, it will interrupt it. It will stop it from going off. Stuns or silences will stop his ultimate from going off. So, like I said, have to be a little bit careful. And Malzahar is actually doing a pretty good job of fighting against me. I was doing a pretty poor job of escaping his skills there, although I'm not stupid enough to stand in his big swirly circle. Let's see, up here, let's see, Mookie is coming in, and Mookie I think was getting ready to go for a kill on Malzahar, so you can see he's waiting there in the brush, and notice I'm pretty sure they don't have a ward there, so Mookie's going to come in here and ult. He misses his ult, I miss on my wall, so that's a little bad. And now here, Malzahar is going to ult me, and it looks like I'm going to die for sure, but I actually level up during the fight using with my catalyst, and so that enables me to survive with like 50 HP. And Malzahar is like, yeah, you can see he says, nice level up. And then Caitlyn appears, and I was like, uh-oh, I have to get out of here. She's gonna ult me. So I'm gonna burn Ghost here, which might be a little of a waste, but I want to make sure that she doesn't kill me, especially while I have that blue buff. I don't want to hand it back to the other team. So anyway, you always need a little bit of luck in this game. I mean, that was very lucky, the fact that I happened to level up during that particular engagement. Otherwise, so instead of us trading 1 kill for 1 kill, instead we score a kill on them, and Mookie gets an assist. So we pick up quite a bit of gold. You can see now I'm now 400, 110 minion kills. That's most in the game by a pretty wide margin, and I'm now pretty far ahead of the other team. So that's a good situation for us here. Now there's a team fight going on down here. I noticed that we have a ward down here, so I'm going to teleport to the ward and come in from an unusual angle, try to come in and get behind the enemy team to cut them off. The problem is I start going for Kassadin, and Kassadin's just going to riff walk away. That was a mistake on my part. If I had come up here and gone after Rammus, we could have gotten that kill pretty easily, I think. As it is, Metallion is going to get that kill on Sivir, and then we're going to go after Malzahar, but he's going to blink away. So that was a missed opportunity. I do think that was the right play to teleport to that ward and try to come in behind the enemy team. The mistake there was I went after Kassadin, and I should have ignored him and gone after one of the other targets. But that's one of the more creative ways to use teleport, and I'll try to talk more about that in the next video. Anyway, we're getting up to the end of this one, so stay tuned, and we'll continue this in part 2.